On October 12, 1984, President Reagan came to a presidential rally in Dayton, Ohio at Courthouse Square.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much, and thank you, your good former governor and my good friend Jim Rhodes. The members of the Congress that you have met already here, and please send them back in this election. We need them in Washington. And all of you, ladies and gentlemen, it's great to be in Ohio again, and especially good to be in Dayton. I happen to like Ohio so much that I've decided to spend the day here. Now, as Jim told you, and I'm sure you all know, we're about to embark on a train trip through your state. There's nothing I've looked forward to more. We're taking the whistle-stop tour of 84 to demonstrate that our government is once again on the right track. And our national renewal is not going to be derailed. I'll be traveling on the same train that Harry Truman used in the 1948 campaign. And all of us who remember what he said know that he spoke some very blunt truths. And that's what I hope to do today. Sometime back, I made a rather big statement. I said that this election is the most significant in half a century. And I said it because the issues of this campaign are so clear-cut, and the differences in philosophy and approach to government are so great that this year, America will either ratify the great turn that we made in 1980 or decide to go back to the old days and the old ways. Well, in some ways, I think we're like the pioneers who won the West. We can stick together, stand together, and move on together, or we can retreat in small groups from the challenges of a great new world. I think we'll decide as the pioneers did. But you know, like the pioneers, we might remember for a few minutes the desert we had to go through to get here. We've come a long way in less than 4 years, And together we put all of that old, tired talk about malaise and the age of limits behind us. We have, together, disproved two major myths, fairy tales about America, that her best days were behind her and that the people were powerless to solve problems. Do you remember when they were telling us that, and that we were going to have to get along with less? Well, we have restored hope and confidence, faith and courage, and returned them as the birthright of every American. In the economy, as you've been told, we reduced inflation by 2/3, down to 4.2% for the last year. We got the prime interest rate, which by 1980 was the highest since the Civil War. We got that down by 40%. It's now down by 9 points. We cut unneeded federal regulations, and this alone will save consumers and businesses about $150 billion over the next 10 years. Do you know that with a task force cutting back on regulations, we have eliminated your paperwork, government-required paperwork, by 300 million man-hours a year. In education, we shifted the emphasis from how much government spends to how much students learn. And the result is a renewed commitment to excellence and scholastic aptitude test scores that are going up again for the first time in 20 years. In fact, this year they jumped 4 points, and that doesn't sound like much, but it is the biggest increase in 20 years. Now, not everything is going up. We got tough on street crime and violent crime, and the crime rate has dropped for 2 years in a row, and it's the first time it's done that in a long time. We've made America less dependent on foreign oil. We deregulated the oil prices, and oh my, they said that gasoline would go to $2 a gallon. Well, gasoline prices are nearly a dime less than they were since we took office.
Now, one thing that's cool, this is where he spoke from, this stage right here. And with all the people that were down there, I mean, it's full up all the way down. I'll just show you. That's there in the middle of that fountain. I must have turned it off. But there's that elevator that used to be there. There was a walkway that went from the City Hall garage right to here, and then you went down this glass elevator and walked down the stairs. I was just talking about that the other day. But the thing that's cool about it was Reagan was speaking inside of here, and with all these people down here, the security, that's the U.S. president, right? So security was still pretty tight, right? You have 2 Dayton police officers, the old Dayton car there, and the old State Highway Patrol there. There's our cannon that's been there forever. And, you know, like I said, when John Kennedy was here, he stood about right here, but he did have a wooden barrier that was built, and he stepped over to this. He stood right there, and there's a famous picture of him standing right there off into the distance. I'm going to study more about where Abraham Lincoln was when he came here. He stood on the steps somewhere, and I want to find it. So did... Now, Bill Clinton spoke right over here, where that stage is at. But one of the things that's cool is, part of the security is, he spoke from right here, and then he goes off into this white doorway. It takes him, the Secret Service take him through here, and into this. Then they back these 2 beasts. They're 2 presidential limos. 2 of them. They back them both in. Then Ronald Reagan gets into one of them. And then they both go out, and then they separate. The beast always travels in 2s. You don't know which one it is that the president's actually in. And that's for terrorism, this they can't distinguish which car it's in. So they have to get both of them. Along through here, that's our arcade square, which is much different now except for this here. I just did a video where I had to stand right here to get a location for the movie Deadbeat at Dawn. This used to be the DP&L building right here. Now it's something different. But see, the Beast, both of these cars are able to get out onto Courthouse Square because these steps are onto 3rd Street, because these steps end right here. That's probably a Secret Service car too. But when I used to maintain this building right here, we were able to just pull the vans right up to the front door right here whenever there was maintenance needed on that. You can see the 3 trees right here, and then 1, 2, 3. I did a video. There's benches in here now, and I remember what Courthouse Square was like before they put this in. But I did a video because there was a guy strung out on heroin over there that passed out on. Oh, it was crazy. Yeah, but the 2 beasts are right there, and then it would be. I'm directly in front of where the 2 beasts would have been at. You see how this section of the. See how you got stairs. You got steps right here. Just a few. But over here, it's always been flat, so they can bring vehicles in and out of Courthouse Square. All you got to do is move them plants over. So his beast would have been right here. And you can see him walk out of that, walk into that white hole, and that's how they left out. So Reagan literally was right here and then out onto the street.
Thank you all very much. Thank you.
You'll see him exit here in just a minute. That's Governor James Rhodes. And that stage is available, you know, for the public to just stand on. But Bill Clinton spoke in the same spot. And you'll see President Reagan stepping off into that white tunnel. See it? Just
And if I can repeat an earlier announcement.
That would have been him coming back out this way to the limos
there. Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States, Mrs. Reagan, and the family.
Thank you.
And using Google Maps to get an aerial view. This is the courthouse, and this is where Reagan was speaking. This is the white area they left him so he could get out. This is where the Beast have been parked at. Now they're calling this the International Peace Museum Events Exhibits Promoting Nonviolence. Now that's something new. These used to be the DPNL building right here. I used to work in it, so I'm gonna go check that out. Here's the fountain that people were sitting in. I've been on top of that building. Yeah, but there used to be a tunnel that went up top and lowered you down into Courthouse Square. He spoke on this stage right here, and he left down them steps right there. Right into the building, apparently. Here's the RTA hub, the other side of it. Let's see if we can get that shot. See how good Google Earth is doing. There we go. There's a lineup shot. A little bit more over this way. $1984. Now. Reagan would have walked down these, right here down these steps to the Beast. Here the Beast would have been. Left out right there.